So how do Florida counties really decide what your home is worth? Why do property taxes reset back to market value after a sale? Let's explain why.
So, well, here in Florida, we have something that's called Save Our Homes, or SOH, right? Save Our Homes, yeah. So that limits how much property or how much a homestead property, right? Because it's not an investment property,
Can increase.
can be assessed value each year. So for primary residents, right, we have the homestead exemption. So this is the assessed value that can be increased by 3% every year, or CPI, whichever is lower, which is the commercial. I forget what CPI stands for, but it's CPI. So this protects the long-time homeowners from
Huge tax jumps.
huge tax
Yeah.
jumps, right? So you don't want it to. At least they can kind of gauge. It'll be no more than 3% every year.
And you can kind of budget for that. So
Right.
it helps.
So investment property is different. You don't get that protection. So your tax jumps will be
A
higher.
lot higher.
All right. So then we have what market
Value. What
right?
the home could sell for.
So which is where kind of we determine market value.
Right.
So if you buy today for 500,000, the county will register 500,000. That'll be your market value. Okay. And then there's a difference between market value and assessed value.
Which is what the county
Correct.
uses, and it's often much lower.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so what happens after the sale?
Oh, well, when a home is sold, the save or cap is removed.
Right.
And the assessed value is typically reset closer to current market value.
Correct. Which is why there's a big difference between when you buy to the following year.
Yeah.
So a new owner's tax bill is based on the higher number. So even, like I said, when the seller, let's say they pay $4,000 a year, the county reassesses at your purchase price.
Right.
Now all of a sudden your tax jumps to $8,000. Well, that's because
Your purchase price was a lot higher than
Right.
when the original seller purchased their home.
because the seller was being assessed on when they purchased.
Correct.
So if they purchased 3 years ago, it's only been increasing 3%, and now you come along and buy for higher, that's when the county takes advantage.
And it could be almost double
It
what
can be.
they. So let's say they were paying $4,000.
Right.
And now you purchase at double what they purchased at, whatever that number is. You can possibly be paying $8,000, $7,000 for your taxes.
Yeah, and this surprise catches us or this tax increase catches us by surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very important. I'm just going to throw something in there really quick, not to do with this, but yes. When you're shopping for a home, make sure you ask your lender, okay, well, what do you predict my taxes will be next year? So
Yes.
that's kind of like, so you have an idea, right? So yeah, you'll take advantage of a lower lower tax amount the first year, but the following year, you really should be aware of what that will be so that it's not such a big hit on your monthly payments.
Yes. So if you want to check it yourself, Miami-Dade County's property appraiser has, when you look up your property, it has a link for estimated tax, and it'll calculate it. So you put in your folio number, you put in the purchase price, and then obviously you're going to do homestead exemption if it's your homestead. If it isn't, then you don't click that.
Right.
And it'll calculate
Give you
for
an
you.
estimate. That's a good
It's an
idea.
estimate. It's
Yeah.
not exact. Don't be like, oh, this is a number. It can be a little higher or a little less.
Yeah, but it helps and it kind of gauges you
But
towards
at
like
least
a
you'll know
more realistic number.
what the following year your
Right.
property taxes are
Yeah.
going to be. So why does Florida do this? Why is this system designed?
Well, I mean, also to protect, their residents from being taxed out of their homes.
Right.
Because if not, then they can't afford it.
Exactly. So it keeps it predictable.
Right.
Like we said.
Yeah, helps.
So the trade-off is new buyers don't inherit old owners' capped value.
Right.
Right? Obviously, the county wants to increase their revenue. So essentially, it's a reset button.
Right. Right.
So when counties reassess their assessed value, at least here in Florida, they take into account recent sales. So they'll do their own, I guess, comp analysis to determine what the assessed value will be. And how often do they do this?
Every year.
Every year.
That's why we get a nice little notice in the mail.
Right. You'll get your trim notice, I think they call it.
I think so.
I think it's called
I can't
trim
remember.
notice.
I just read it and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it went up again.
So, yeah, the valuations take place more or less on the 1st of January
Yeah.
of each year. And you'll get your trim notice around sometime in August if you're watching your mail.
Yeah.
It's snail mail, no emails, no
And
nothing.
actually reading it.
Right. I read it and I'm like, oh, crap, it's going up again.
Exactly.
So, and then the tax
Final
bills,
taxes.
yeah, in November.
Every November. So values are reviewed every year, not just when a property sells.
Correct.
That's important to remember. Do they use recent sales?
Yes, they do.
All the time. That's the only way they could.
That's their primary method. Right. And they also, obviously, they analyze comps, which is the recent sales. They say they look for similar properties in the neighborhood. I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah.
I'm sure they use an algorithm, more than likely, and they kind of grab probably square footage, in the neighborhood. Most, like at least my neighborhood, the properties are pretty much all the same.
Similar.
We have like 3 models, so I guess they'll just compare
Yeah.
that kind
Apples
of
to
same model
apples.
to the other ones and assess that way.
Yeah, and adjust the square footage, number of bedrooms, and
Correct.
as needed.
Yeah, lot size, whatnot. So they may use an appraisal model, like an algorithm. So, I don't think they go like we do when they kind of look exactly to see what the property has, because I don't think they have access to that unless, I don't know if they have MLS access. Maybe they do.
I'm sure they have something similar. I mean, they have to use some sort of program that gives them access to such comparables.
Yeah, it's possible. So they're legally required to do it every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, on, like I said, January 1st.
Yep.
So, what triggers a property tax increase in Florida?
Well, if you were listening, you heard adjustment for square feet,
Yes.
upgrades, conditions, etc.
So when you add to your property, guess what? Your tax is going to go up because you're going to be reassessed. So, yes, if you increase living area, anything under air, you're
Adding
going
a
to
bedroom.
We have one that's coming up where we're trying to get that one listed, where they added a bedroom and a bathroom, but they didn't do it, the right way. So, but they may, obviously when you add that in, their tax is going to be reassessed.
Yeah. Because now you've made the home larger.
Correct.
You've added square feet.
Yeah. So yeah, room additions, or when you enclose a garage, which a lot of us do, that becomes living area. That's a reassessment. Converting porches and patios.
Adding a second story, which is a huge project, but
Yeah.
I've seen people do it.
Seen people do it. We don't, at least down here in South Florida, we don't have basements, so that, I don't know
No.
if that really applies to us.
No, but
But North
It's good to
Florida
know.
may have basements.
yeah, and adding an in-law suite as well.
Correct. Or a detached garage.
Yeah.
Any structural improvements that you might make? New roof. If you rebuild after a fire or storm damage,
Right.
that may cause or trigger a reassessment
Structural modifications like that are major.
that are major, right? Yeah, anything that constitutes an expanding of your footprint
Yeah.
of your home,
The original blueprint of the home.
right? So I don't think minor repairs.
No.
If you change your floors, if you change your kitchen,
No.
I don't really think that makes any difference to
I wouldn't think
tax-wise.
so. I don't think so. Tax-wise, no.
Value-wise, yes,
Yeah, but
but
tax-wise,
not tax-wise.
I don't see why it would.
So what are some of the home value, what are some of the improvements that increase our home value?
Swimming pool.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of us have swimming pools, or those that don't and add it in, that adds value to your property.
Adding a garage, workshop.
Yes. Some of us can install elevators.
That is cool.
I would love to. Well, I don't live in a second
Who
story.
can say they have an elevator in their house?
Actually, there's one not too far from here.
Seriously?
Yes, off of 127. I went and I knocked on her door because she had an expired listing, and I tried to get it back on the market. She has 2 stories, right? But she was an elderly woman,
Oh, that makes
and
sense.
she had an elevator from the
to
first
help
to the
her
second.
get okay.
And she's like, "No, I'm gonna wait because I got to redo the elevator." And
That's so cool.
yeah,
That's a cool
there
upgrade.
was another one that we had rented for Airbnb. That one had 3 stories.
Okay, so
I had
that
an
one
elevator.
elevator.
But it's not really for you to get around. It's really for like groceries
Yeah.
or things that you need to take up and down.
Yeah, for leisure, I guess, luxury.
Major
Major-
kitchen remodel. Yeah, you were going to say that.
Luxury
Beat you to
upgrades.
it.
Yep, luxury upgrades, all that stuff.
All that stuff increases value.
Yeah, definitely.
So counties often will reclassify properties depending on the quality of their improvements,
Yeah.
which obviously increases value. So what doesn't trigger
A
an
bigger increase. So replacing carpet to flooring, that's
No reassessment.
no, really no. Painting inside the home.
Nada.
I feel like those little minor cosmetic, that's,
That's just maintenance, quite frankly.
yeah,
If you change your AC, that doesn't do anything.
no.
Really, the roof replacement, if it's a lateral replacement, like if you had shingle before and you replace it
Barrel.
with shingle, it doesn't really change anything. But if you go from shingle to tile,
right,
or
then-
from tile to metal or aluminum, then that'll obviously trigger or increase your home value. Obviously maintain your property.
Yeah, it wouldn't increase the,
Yeah, but it doesn't
the
increase.
tax value.
Correct. So, how does this affect homestead properties?
Well, your existing assessed value is capped.
Right? Or the CPI. Remember the CPI.
CPI,
Don't
3%.
forget the CPI. But new construction or additions, right?
These are interesting.
They add, like we said, market value. So the new portion is protected by the prior cap.
Right.
So and obviously, it increases your home value, but the following year that can't go up more than 3%.
Yeah.
So if you have a home capped at 300 of an assessed value, 300,000 of an assessed value, you add, let's say, $100,000 room addition, right? So now you get your assessed values up by 100,000.
400,000 now.
Right now you're at 400. So
Now you're at times 3%.
correct,
That's now $12,000.
right. And how do they keep track of this?
Of what?
Improvements,
Well, if you're doing it correctly,
right?
you
When you
have-
take out the permit,
yes, then they'll know.
they'll know, which is why a lot of us don't do it.
Yeah. Discreetly.
But when it comes to resale, you got to suffer the
Yeah.
consequences.
Yeah.
So, or when a contractor files a notice of commencement, they also do now with drones.
Yes. They're spying.
So they're catching everything you do.
Yes.
So be wary of that. Obviously, there's fines and
Yeah.
back tax that you might,
And that's probably
Be
worse
required
than
to
doing
pay.
it the right way.
yeah,
That,
it's going to be a lot more costly for you.
yeah. Just, it's a
If
pain in
the-
the butt to do it right the first time, but
I know,
in
but,
the end, it's worth it.
but also it kind of helps, right? Because it was done right or to
Yeah.
code.
To code.
And there's no fire hazards. There's no chance of it. Not to say that
Correct.
most of you are not handy. I'm sure a lot of you can build just as good as if you were a contractor. But you might cut certain corners that are not legally permitted.
Right.
If the county comes to do a property inspection, right? That's how they're inside. They're going to see
Or if one of your neighbors rats you out.
that too. That happens
Which can happen.
more often than not.
Yep. Got that Karen and living around the neighborhood.
So we have a client, or I had a client before, that bought a property in foreclosure. Right? When we walked the property before you started improving it, I asked, "Are you going to do things with permits?" He's like, yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, guess what? He didn't do jack dilly squat with permits. So he started his windows. He did his windows, added an opening in the back, redid the roof.
How do you do all of that without permits, though?
He just did it. So I think somebody ratted him out,
Oh, of course.
right?
Yeah.
And then he got a red notice or a red card posted on the front door.
Wow.
That was 2 years ago. We're still dealing with permits and fines. And now you have to hire an architect and an engineer and a
And
contractor.
it's costing him much more.
And you got to pay for plans and all sorts of crap.
Wow.
So we could have had the house on the market up and sold by now and his money back. And now he's over budget by $100K.
Wow.
So think about it, especially if you're doing flips. You don't want to do things without permits.
Wow.
Just do it right. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll cost you what, a few hundred dollars, maybe a few thousand just to get the permits done. But in the long run, it'll save you money.
Yeah. And the time.
So yeah,
And the headache.
absolutely. It was 2 years. And
Time,
it's just-
headache, money. Well, time
It's a
is
money
money.
pit right now,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
So, but once you pull the permits, expect a reassessment
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So special rules for, substantially improved properties. So if improvements are equal to or exceed a large percentage of the structure, more or less 50%, it constitutes a substantially improved property. So again, this triggers another reassessment in a higher market value. It's not the same market value.
Yeah, no.
So sometimes when you do too much, you change the use or you change the marketability of your property, which affects you in a different way,
And you reclassify the effective year
which
of
is
the
a
build.
big hit. Big hit. All right. So
New construction in Florida.
this is a doozy.
Here's a property tax trap no one explains.
So why does new construction purchasers often see a big surprise come November 1st?
Well, why is the tax bill that much higher? Let's tell them why.
You're going to tell them or am I going to tell them?
I'll break the news.
Break it.
So at closing, property taxes are prorated based on the current year's tax bill.
Yep.
So for new construction, what happens is that it's only based on the land. So while these developers are building or developing this community, it's giving value, and now you're adding the homes, tax goes up. And when you're reassessed and now the community has value, that's when you're hit with almost probably double, triple.
Yes. So
what you're
remember,
paying.
developers buy large
Plots of
parcels
land.
of land, and then they go start dividing them into lots, right? But the county is only doing it based on the purchase of the land.
Right.
So, let's say, and then they divide them. So they're each folio gets a new assessment based on that purchase. So it's less, much less than if once it's been improved and now you resale.
It's probably only a few $100 for that first.
Yeah, it's
Nothing. It's pocket change.
It's pennies
Yeah.
compared to what you're gonna be paying because of the improvement. So and obviously, let's say the developer takes 2 years to develop that land, then obviously it hasn't really caught up with them,
Right.
because it's still not sold. You may have built something, and it should have triggered a reassessment, right? I
Well,
would think it would have triggered a reassessment.
so even if they're not done with the build, I had two clients a few years back. They bought down in Homestead, D.R. Horton. They bought new construction, right? So what happens is that the first year they were told, save some money because your taxes will increase. One of them did, the other one didn't. So come the following year, they call me. They're like, "Ideal, my taxes have increased, or they're double by now."
Right.
I'm like, "Well, yeah, well, we knew this, right? Did you budget for it?" No. Okay, well then now obviously now the mortgage to pay the difference went up $1,000 just to be able to pay the lack of escrow that they didn't have the escrow to pay for it. So, yeah,
And that Save Our Homes cap doesn't apply until the year after,
right,
or does it start applying there forward?
yeah. So
So-
they're up there in taxes now.
So the result is a big jump.
It is a very big jump.
Big jump.
Big jump.
And it will catch you a big surprise if you don't already know or you weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
So now, could you get that money back from your developer?
No.
X and no. So that's a short answer. Almost always it's going to be no.
Yeah.
Unless the contract specifically provides for you to get a what they call it, a proration of the taxes.
Yeah. But that's not going to happen.
But those contracts are extremely in favor of the developer.
Yeah, they protect them.
They protect them very, very, very well.
Yeah.
So taxes are prorated every year based on the current tax roll at the time of closing. So if they paid, let's say, 1,500, just to throw a number, that was their tax roll. Their proration at your closing will be based on that number.
Right.
And then come November 1st, the number changes. November 1st of the following year. So if you close, let's say today, this November 1st will still be the same from last. Or whatever the tax roll is for this year.
Just for 2027.
Next year is when you're going to get the big jump.
Yeah, because we're always a year behind. One year
Correct.
back.
Right, you're paying them in arrears.
Yeah.
So future reassessments again are not retroactively charged to the seller.
Yeah.
So that's where it's kind of hard to get it from the developer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the prorations are again based on what the information they have
The latest tax bill.
at the time of closing.
Yeah. So the contract had a special. Oh no, hold on. Unless now the contract had a special clause adjusting for post-construction assessment.
Right, which it's kind of hard to find.
Or there was some sort of clear misrepresentation.
Which again,
It's
Hard
very
to
difficult to
find.
happen.
I mean, I guess hire a lawyer and see if you can find one. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you're probably throwing away good money after bad.
And this is not to say that new construction is a bad deal. You just have to be very careful with.
No, you just have to know what you're doing.
Exactly, and keep in mind that the tax is only on land, and it's going to increase
Right.
in a year
Yes.
from when you purchase.
Again, use the
The incentive they give you, they're covering all your closing costs, all that money you're saving.
well, that too.
Save, quote unquote, save it for your taxes.
That's pocket money. But also, use the tax estimator from the appraiser's office and kind of calculate what it's going to be.
I wonder though, for new construction, would they have that?
Yeah, because it's based on your purchase price. So if you bought for $500,000, it'll be based on $500,000.
Okay.
It's just the difference. So the land value, let's say, was $50,000, and now you built a house and it's worth $500,000. Developer's paying tax on $50,000.
You're paying.
You're paying tax on $500,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so it's just in general.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's a calculator that it does it for you.
Yeah.
So Ideal touched upon how you can prepare for it. You be proactive, save for it, expect it, and adjust accordingly.
And it's hard to do that because most people don't, save and budget for it. But
No.
it's easier said than done in most cases. But if you can put away $200-300 every few paychecks, then I mean it's better than nothing,
Right.
and it won't be such a big hit.
So again, we used the $500,000 purchase price. So you guys can get an idea as to what it'll
Taxes
be.
would look like.
So the millage rate here in Miami-Dade, I believe, is 2%,
Right.
more or less. If you take a $500,000 purchase price and you add the 2%, or you times 2%, your annual taxes will be about $10,000.
Yeah.
That's you kind of gauge it by that. So obviously, if your closing said $1,500, but your new tax rate is going to be $10,000, then your lender should know that, because if your payment's going to be X, and if your taxes change, now your payment's going to be Y. you need to be able to afford it.
Yes.
Because there are some people that go into default because they can't afford it.
Come the following year.
Right. It becomes harder to pay. And every year it goes up 3%. Not to mention your insurance, which is, whatever that might be.
Also increasing.
So again, most counties have the tax estimator. Use it. Get the realistic numbers. And then
File homestead right away. So March 1st is a deadline. Let's say you buy your home in July. Not to say you're going to file right away, because obviously nothing's going to happen. It's just going to sit there in their database. So I would just file it as close as you can. Maybe January. Start.
Yes.
Would you suggest the same thing?
Yes.
Because I thought you purchase your home, you file right away. And then I learned that nothing gets done until you're closer.
Until that, yes.
Yeah, that
Until
open
that 3-month
window.
gap between January and March.
Yeah, that when they open their window, I guess,
So
for
the
filing
deadline
for
is March 1st. If you don't have it filed before then, you won't be granted the exemption for that year. You'll have to wait for the next year.
it. Yep.
All right, and for homestead, that's a $50,000 exemption.
And how does that work? So let's say that you buy a home for $500,000. Instead of being taxed on $500,000, you're now being taxed on $450,000, right? Or if you qualify for more exemptions, then whatever the case is, they just deduct it from the purchase price.
Right. From
So
whatever your
it's a break.
assessed value is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a break and it helps.
It does, and I think they're trying to increase it with a new tax bill that's being proposed. I don't know exactly.
Or if they pass the law now to eliminate homeowners'
Right.
taxes.
So I think right now there's no elimination of it,
Right.
but I think they're going to cap it at $200,000 or $200,000 exemption instead of 50. So that'll at least that will be a lot of help.
That's a much better than what we have now.
Yes. So we'll see what happens. That's getting voted on now in November.
I believe so.
Yeah. So obviously, try and set aside reserves
Yeah.
if you're not escrowing. If you're escrowing, it gets paid
Right.
with your
With your
mortgage
escrow,
payment. Correct. So what advice would you give to buyers that are purchasing?
As with taxes?
Yeah.
As far as taxes, again, just make sure that you're aware of what the following year is going to look like. Don't assume that you're going to be paying the taxes you're paying for that year forever. And if you're not, obviously, budget for it. Be prepared for it. Just stay ahead of the game always, and know that it's always going to increase. And just budget for it. That's all.
Right.
My advice: budget for it.
So some of them are escrowing. Some of you will escrow because a lender will require you to escrow. I think if you do a large down payment, is where they don't require you to escrow.
Right.
So if you do escrow, again, I said it gets paid with your taxes.
However, you could fall in what's that called? When you don't have enough in your escrow.
There's a shortage.
Shortage. There we go. You could have a shortage.
So, and you're going to experience that throughout the years. I get that letter. I've gotten it 3 times.
Yeah.
There's an escrow shortage because obviously the taxes or the insurance went up and they didn't account for it.
Right.
So now they either ask you for a lump sum to cover the shortage, or you can break it into your payments and your payment will
Right.
increase.
Right.
So, but they'll send you that notice.
Just keep an eye out for it. You can even call your mortgage company and ask how much do you have in escrow. Is it going to be enough for the estimated taxes and insurance? If not, then you can start putting more money into your escrow so that you can avoid that notice.
Yeah. So you've been forewarned, so you don't have to panic. Now you're more or less prepared, and you know what to expect. So when the trim notice comes, which is also your chance to
Check
make sure
everything.
that your homestead exemption has been applied.
The right square footage, amount of the square feet in your home is correct.
Yeah, you're being assessed correctly.
Yeah.
And if there's any incorrections, then you can appeal, right? And, to appeal, obviously, you need to show proof of whatever your assessed value should be. As if it's too high on their end, then obviously you'd want to lower that. It is a process that you got to go through with the county, but people do it. Make sure they have the right purchase price. People, they do errors. Maybe they put in
Inputting.
one more zero than they should have. And you're being assessed
a
at
big
5 million
difference.
instead of
Oh my God.
500,000. You're like, holy crap, $30,000.
Yes.
But shit happens.
It does.
So look at your trim notice. Don't be like, oh, and toss it in the trash.
Yeah, no.
So obviously, plan taxes at, between 1.8 to 2 and change. Please don't rely on what Zillow says.
No.
They do a tax estimation for you in their Z estimate, I believe. Don't go by that. At the very least, if anything, use the county calculator.
Yeah. Yes.
Compare it to last year's tax roll. Make sure the increase wasn't, a significant one.
Yeah.
And then if you need, we can help you. We can check the MLS, give you some kind of comparables. We're happy to help. If anything, you can always, obviously, if you've already communicated with us, keep us in your contacts and we can help you later too.
Absolutely. And if you have any wild, crazy stories about your own tax experience,
yes.
please comment below and let us know. We'd love to hear what you've experienced personally.
Yeah, if you've had an appeal issue, let us know how that went. How'd you go about it? And maybe we can do another video about all your adventures with the county.
Your stories.
I'm sure you have doozies. All right. This was a doozy show, since she likes that word. So don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you can get all of our shows comes every Sunday.